you were the middle child. Technically, Q was the middle child, and then we found out when we were like adults that you weren't really the middle child. But you have what they call...
Like I never win. Like the only thing I had going for me was that I was the middle child.
Yeah.
And then that was also taken away.
Oh my gosh. So here's some traits of middle children, right? So they say middle children are adaptable. They are the social butterfly. They are dreamers. They are generous, creative, rebellious, competitive, funny, and they are great negotiators. So do you think there are any truths to this middle child syndrome, just according to your personality type?
Actually, a lot of that is me,
Yeah.
except I'm not rebellious. I'm not a great negotiator. Otherwise, you guys would be married.
Yeah.
So I failed 40 years and counting. Hey, Rafet.
No, Q, please don't.
I think that's
What do you mean failed?
do we see rings on the fingers?
Don't worry, Q, about that. Don't worry yourself about that.
Yeah, that's none of your business. This is not why you came onto this podcast.
But I think I love when you said adaptable, because I had to adapt to being cool with Fortune and Ramesh.
Yeah.
I had to adapt. I had to try and be big brother to you guys.
Right.
And even now, because I thought you guys were the youngest siblings, so even now, like, I'm trying to figure out how to be big brother to Ansley.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is absolutely true. Because as a middle child, you're alone. You never belong anywhere. Like, mom had dad, Fortune had Ramesh, you had Ntando, and I was by myself.
Yeah.
So, Bengi's mix our fate.
I remember
You know what I mean?
those days. I remember those days because it was almost like when we were growing up, you were almost like too young to be with Fortune and Ramesh, and then you were too cool to hang out with us. You know, and it was almost like you were always trying to find a balance between
Like, who wants to hang out with a younger sister? Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now that you're older, has that changed?
Well, I still don't want to hang out with you.
But you're here now.
Yeah, well, if mom asked me to, and I am here, so let's make the best of it.
Okay, so let's talk about this. I think it's important to talk about this because you've mentioned names, right? You started off with Fortune and Ramesh. So Fortune and Ramesh are our older brothers. And Q is third in line. Then our whole lives, you and I were the last borns, right?
Yeah.
But technically we still are. But we have to tell the story, and I know a lot of families in South Africa and in the world encounter a story like this, right? So it was probably like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So Ntando and I were out one evening and just having fun with our friends, and lo and behold, at dinner, I bump into this huge man who comes up to me, and he literally couldn't control himself. Tried to put me to the side and was just like, "Hey, Hlelo."
No, please hold on.
Yeah.
Get deeper into detail, because I don't even know the story.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
where were
You know
you?
the story.
Where,
Okay, we're out in, it was by the Michelangelo. You did see the Michelangelo Hotel?
Yeah.
There's like a restaurant downstairs.
Yeah.
And a friend of ours had just launched a restaurant. So that friend actually invited us to
Right.
the event, not knowing that the friend that invited us was best friends with Ansley. So we arrived at this restaurant for a launch. And then that happened.
Yeah, so we had just arrived. We literally had just walked in. And I could see he was, like when you have ants in your pants, like when they like itchy.
Yeah.
But now this is a grown man. And now you need to understand, how he's a giant. He's like extremely, extremely tall. And my friend put me to the side because he already knew that we were siblings, right? So he was just like, there's a gent here who would just like to talk to you, just 2 minutes of your time. But now we were with friends, right? So Ntando that evening was kind of like, I'll sit with our friends and may you please talk to him, right? So I spoke to him, I sat with him, and the first thing he said was, I know your aunts. He mentioned them by name. I know this aunt, I know that aunt, and I'm your brother. So he was kind of like, how?
Weird.
Like, why didn't mom tell us we had another
Or dad,
No. The first thing, like, because my naive brain was like, oh, wait, mom had another baby.
Where was I when
Where
this
was
happened?
she stashing this baby, right? So it clicked a few seconds later that, hang on. He was like, no, your dad is my dad.
And then she came to me, because now I'm sitting with our friends. She comes to me. She's like, yo, like, see that guy over there? I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, he says he's our brother. I was like, nah. I was literally like, nah, don't believe anything anybody says. Because at that time we were on TV, radio. So you're thinking people are just trying to get with you because of your family name. You know how it is. Like, I just thought, nah, this guy, we are claimer. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, don't believe him. He's probably not even telling the truth. You know what? But when we looked at him, I was like, I don't know, man. But he had the head. You know, like we have the heads in the family, you know. So I was like, I don't know. And we couldn't wait to get home because we wanted to tell mom. I think mom was the first person we wanted to tell.
So how did you feel? How did you react to that family situation? If you remember.
And how did you know?
I was actually very excited when I met him. Because I don't know whether I've shared the story with you guys. I was out DJing in Pretoria.
Right.
And while I'm DJing, there's this guy that was like, hey, well, he greeted me. So in my head, I'm like, who's this nigga looking like dad that keeps on greeting me?
Oh my God.
This is weird as you know? And then he greets me again. And I'm like, every time I see this guy, he either looks like dad or he looks like Fortune.
Oh my God.
And now, why is he starting to look like me? And the moment he said, hey, it's me, your brother, I already knew. Because I could see, come on.
Yeah, because you guys look alike.
Yeah, because I think I look like him more than anyone of my siblings.
So you actually saw yourself in him?
No, I saw, yes. I don't like to put it like that. It's like, yo, I see myself in that man.
No, but can I tell you,
I saw the resemblance. That's how I prefer.
When you guys are together, like for real, you guys could be twins. Like, I'm not even lying. It's undeniable. Even the way you act, especially when there's family gatherings, the giggling and the snickling and the little side jokes. It's almost like you guys are the same person.
I was excited. Nobody needed to say anything. The moment he got close to me, I think I just knew. And I think I was overwhelmed by... It wasn't even... I was just excited. Because it's like, you know, there's more of us. There's more kids. The weirdest thing about mom, as we said, I used to spend so much time with mom. And I know that mom loved kids. Which is why even now I bump into kids that are 21, 22, that are actually even big in... big musicians, piano right now. And they're like, no, we know you, Quinton. I'm like, nobody calls me that. And they're like, no, we went to your mother's crash. You know? I mean, mom ran a crash for so many years.
It happens with us.
Which she never even made money from.
Right.
And I realized that this woman ran this crash just because she loves children.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about sibling power and siblings' influence, right? So we've spoken a lot that we have two older brothers, or we have 4 older brothers. You have 2 older brothers, and obviously younger ones. How do you think their influence has shaped you, your career choices, your personality, and anything else?
I followed the template. It's like, because you look up to people. I remember I used to look up to dad now. Well, I still do. It's not past tense. Until I went to work with dad. Like, you know, that take a boy child to work.
Right.
He took me to his office job. And I think 30 minutes later, I was probably like 11. And I was like, I don't think I can ever do
No
this.
way.
Yeah, I was 11. He took me to the office.
Bristol Myers.
Yeah, when he still used to work. And after 30 minutes, I said to myself, nope, is this what he has to do every day? Like, until 5 o'clock.
Was it boring for you? What about it made you think, nah, this is not what I want to do?
You're confined in an office
the
whole day. And you're dealing with a lot of people's problems. And you have to deal with people in the... Like, I just couldn't. And the crazy thing is that that actually happens to be the same profession that Kaylee's in right now. So they do the same kind of thing. So I understand when Kaylee comes back home with she's had a long So that's when I knew, I'm not going to follow dad's footsteps. I never wanted to be in the office because it reminded me of school. And look, I loved school, but I actually loved the break and the sports part of it. I didn't like having to sit in class and, you know, I hated that with a passion.
Makes sense.
Even though I excelled at it, but I just did not see myself sitting somewhere from 9 till 5 o'clock.